Hello everyone, this is a detailed video regarding the topic Ahar. So let's start with the definition first. But before starting, we must know what is Ahar or what does the word Ahar means. The word Ahar means actually food or anything that we can eat. Now, if we see into the verses from Shabdakulvarum, you have said that ahiyate iti ahara annapadadi sarvaha. That means anything that can be eaten and swallowed through the throat is called ahar. If we look into another definition by Chakrapani, he has said that ahiyata itya ahara bhaishajyamapi. That is, ahar is the one which can be ingested and can be both food and medicine. Then, if we come into the classification, in Ayurveda, the classification of ahar can be seen on the representation of different vargas. Vargas means actually group, and the scholars of Ayurveda have classified the food into various vargas. The most prominent classification have been put up here. If we see into the classification as per Ashtanga Hriday, you can see that, and Ashtanga Sangra as well, that is Jal Varga, Shir Varga, Ikshu Varga, Madhu Varga, Taila Varga, Madhya Varga, Mutra Varga. These are actually the Varga or the classification that of those food which are liquid in nature. And then we have the Shukadhanya, Shimbidhanya, Kritanna, Mamsa, Shak, Fal, Aushad Varga. These are the classification of the food which are solid in nature. If we see into the classification according to Sushruta, he has classified them into Paniya Varga, Shira Varga, Dadhi Varga, Takra Varga, Ghrita Varga, Taila Varga, Madhu Varga, Ikshu Varga, Madhya Varga, Mutra Varga, Mudga Varga, Mamsa Varga, Phala Varga, Shakha Varga, Pushpa Varga, Kanda Varga, Lavan Varga, Kritana Varga, Bhakshya Varga, and Anupana Varga. Similarly, Acharya Charak have also enumerated the classification like Shukadhanya, Sambidhanya, Mamsa, Shak, Fal, Harit, Madhya, Ambu, Goras, Ikshuvikar, Kritanna, and Ahara Yogi. So, these are the most prominent or accepted classification that we actually study. Also, the ahar or food can be classified on the basis of the modern aspect, such as based on their origin, or that is whether it is plant origin or animal origin, also based on their chemical components such as protein, carbohydrate, or fat, and also based on their functions such as nutritive food, bodybuilding food, or energy yielding food. So there is definitely the difference between the classification of food on the Western science and in our Ayurveda. So in our Ayurveda, if we look into the individual Varga's name, Jala Varga means the Varga classification of water. It means the classification of water. Shir Varga means actually the classification of milk and products. Ikshu Varga means the classification of sugarcane. Madhu Varga means the classification of honey. Taila Varga means the classification of oil. Madhya Varga means the classification of the fermented products or alcohol. And Mutra Varga means the classification of various urine. Similarly, the Shukadhanya and Shimbidhanya, they are actually the classification of the corn, cereals, and pulses. The Kritanna, actually they are the preparation or the Samsarjan Karma diet, such as Mandha, Peya, Vilepi, Odan. Then we have the Mamsa Varga, that is the meat. Then we have the Shak Varga, that is the vegetables. We have the Phal Varga, that is the fruits. And we have the Aushad Varga, that is the minerals and the or the herbs which we used as the medicine. So Acharya, the classification of Sushruta and Charaka has almost all the classification has means the classification of Sushruta and Charaka are almost same as Ashtanga, so we'll not be reading those. Next, we have the importance. What is the importance of Ahar, or why do we need to eat Ahar? This verse says that Traya Upastambha Itya Ahara Swapna Brahmacharyam Iti by Charak Shutrasthan in chapter 11. What is saying that Ahar is one among the Traya Upastambha, or which is the three pillars of life. Now, actually, according to Acharya Charak, our life has actually three pillars. That is, one is Ahar. The first one is Ahar actually. Then we have the Swapna, which means sleep, and Brahmacharya means celibacy. Now, this Ahar occupies the first position among the Traya Upastambha. That is why Ahar is very much important, or it is very much required in order to sustain and maintain a healthy body. Another verse says that Anna Vritti Karanang Srishta, Charak Sutrasthan in chapter 25. It means that Anna or food is the best way to gain strength and to do work. In another verse by Acharya Charak in his Sutrasthan chapter 27, he says that Pranaha Prana Bhrittama Annama Annam Loka Abhidhavati Varnaha Prasadaha Shau Swayam Jivita Pratibha Sukham Tushtihi Pushtirvalang Medha Sarvama Anne Prathishtitam. What does this mean? For all living beings, food is the sustainer of life. The whole world of living beings depends or craves for food. Yes, because we all actually earn for what? Actually to eat, in order to satisfy our hunger, and which will eventually build and protect our body. What are the benefits of doing that? The benefits of food or by consuming ahar? That is varnaha, color, prasadaha, that is complexion. Then we have so shwayan, or tranquility. Then we have good voice, span of life, ingenuity, happiness, contentment, nourishment, strength, intelligence, and so on. These are actually the benefits of having ahar. In another verse by Sushrut in his Chikitsastan, he has says that aharaha prinano sadhya bala kridya dehok dharaka ayus tejo samutsa ahara smritya ojaha agni vivardhanam. It means that food enhances vitality, strength, and makes the body steady. Food also increases enthusiasm, memory, agni, that is fire, internal fire, lifespan, luster, and ojas. Now, let's talk about the ahar vidhi vidhan, means the rules for consuming the food. Acharya Charak in his Vimansthan have said that Ushna snigdhaha matravata jirne virya viruddham ishte deshe ishte shaprakaranam na ati dhruvam na ati vilambitam aja alpam ahasana tanmana bunjita atma namabhi samokshaya samyak. Now, what does this mean? Actually, this ahar vidhan means the rules for eating the food, or what should be the ideal characteristic or the properties or the rules that must be kept in mind while consuming food. What are they? Firstly, ushna means the food has to be warm. Why the food has to be warm? Because the warm food will help in better digestion, it will help in stimulating the agni, and it will also act as vat anulomya. It will also helps to reduce the kapha dosha and stimulate the vat dosha. Similarly, the use of snigdha food will also help in the secretion of more digestive juices, as a result of which the digestion process will be more easier and quicker. Then matravata, that is in proper quantity. Food should also always be taken in proper quantity. Charaka mentions that we should not never intake the food that completely fills our stomach. We should divide the stomach in three parts, and among that three parts, one part must be kept half or not filled in order to let the doshas move inside. Otherwise, it will cause various diseases. Then we have jirne ahara, that is the before the digestion of the previous food. Definitely, because if the previous food are not been digested yet, and in that situation, if we again consume the food, it will lead to various diseases such as alasag, visuchik, vilambika, rasasya sajirna, etc. Next, we have virya viruddha. That means the food should not have any contraindicatory properties, because due to this there can lead to various harmful disposition or can lead to various diseases. Then istadesha prakarane, that means we should always take the food in a proper place and where all the proper accessories are present. That is, proper place means we should eat the food in a clean and hygiene location, in a proper position, and not in any places which is not uncomfortable for the food consumption, and also with proper accessories. Definitely there should be the proper bowl, glass of water, and everything. Next, we have na ati dhruvam. That means we should not consume the food in a hurry. Yes, because if the food are consumed in a hurry, the food might enters into the wrong passage. Then the food might get stuck, as a result of which death might occur, and we won't be getting the proper taste and will not be able to enjoy the food. And then naati vilambitam. Similarly, if we eat the food just too slowly, then firstly the food will be cold. As a result, there will be no proper taste. Then aja alpa ahasan and tanmana. That means with full concentration. We should always eat the food with concentration, because we must be aware about what we are eating. Next, we have atmanam abhishamoksha. That means with paying due regard to oneself, or before or whenever we eat food, we must thank to God for the food. Next, we have Ashta Ahara Vidhi Vishesha Ayatan. Acharya Charak in his Viman Sthans state that Tatra Khalvi Manya Ashtava Ahara Vidhi Vishesha Ayatanani Bhavanti Tadatha Prakriti Karana Samayoga Rashi Desha Kala Upayoga Samastha Upayoga Ashtamavani. It means the factors which is responsible for the wholesomeness and unwholesomeness of the food or ahar. These are the tests or examinations in order to ensure the proper digestion, assimilation, and absorption of the food in the body. The 8 Vidhi Vidhana are Prakriti or Swabhav, which means the nature of the food. Why? Because whenever we are taking a food, the Gurvadi Gun comes into an important role, because some food are Guru, that is heavy, whereas some food are Laghu, which is light. Some food are Ushna, some are Shita, and so on. And for example, if a person who is obese in nature, we will be suggesting him to often have the Laghu Ahar instead of having Guru Ahar. So, thus the Prakriti or the nature of the food is of utmost importance. Karan means processing or transformation. This is also very important, because during processing or transformation, there is the biotransformation of the food. For example, Raktasali is generally heavy in nature, and when it is fried, it becomes light in nature. Similarly, curd have the property to aggravate edema, but when it is churned, it does not aggravate the edema anymore. Then samyog means combination. Here the thing is that the combination of the food must have to be done in order to bring out the sufficient action. Then, for example, in the Indian diet, we always eat rice with pulses. Why? Because as both rice and pulses have deficiency in some of the amino acids. Rice have something, and rice have some amino acids which is missing and which is present in dal. In order to fulfill and neutralize the effect, we use rice and dal, and this is known as samyog, because by their samyog we can get the desired and complete amount of nutrients or the amino acids. Then we have rashi or the quantity of food substance. Definitely one should never consume the food up to his full limit. He should always leave some space for the movement of dosh. Desh, it means the place or habitat. That is, for example, there are mainly three kinds of desh, that is Sadharan, Anup and Jangam. What happens in Jangam desh is that the Vayu is predominant, and what happens in Sadharan desh is that and what happens in Sadharan desh is that it is the normal in nature, and in Anup desh there is Kapha in dominance. Thus, we must consume the food accordingly to the nature of the desh. Kal, it means the time of the intake of the food. For example, the best example can be the Aushad Sevan Kal, that is in the early morning, before having the food, or in the night, etc., in order to ensure the sufficient use of the food. Then we have Upayug Samstha, that means rules for dieting. And Upayukta, it means the one who consumes the food and who is Satma or Oksatmya by the habitual intake of it. Next, we have Ahar Parinam Karbhav, or means the factors which is responsible for the transformation of food. Acharya Charak in his Sharisthan says that Ahar Parinam Karastimave Bhava Bhavanti Tadyatha Ushma Vayu Kledah Sneha Kalah Samayogascheti. Now, they are, means the factors responsible are Ushma, which means heat, Vayu, which means vat, Kled means moisture, Sneha means unctuousness, Kal means time required for transformation, and Samyog means appropriate administration. Now, how can we understand, or why are these factors that are responsible for the transformation? Again, in Charaka Sharistan, 6th chapter, in the next sloka itself, he says that Tadyatha Ushma Pachati, that means this Ushma heat results in digestion, Pachati. Vayu Prakarshati, it means the Vat actually brings the food near Pitta for digestion to occur. Kledaha Shauthilyama Padayati, it means it helps in loosening of the food particles. Sneha Mardava Janeti, it means Sneha is one which causes or brings unctuousness in the food particles. Then we have Kala Paryaptam Abhinirvartayati, it means the time required for transformation, that can be clearly understood. And Samayog means Samayogostesham Parinama Dhatu Samyakara, that is the after the Samyog it will bring about the equilibrium of the dhatus. Thus, we have completed the topic Ahar. We have read about the definition, the classification, or the various varga that have been explained or which are principally followed. Then we have studied about the importance of Ahar. Then Ahar Vidhi Vidhan, Ashtha Ahara Vidhi Vishesha Ayadan, and Ahara Parinamkara Bhav. Thank you.